Welcome to another edition of your Wednesday night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show.
Question is, did she subscribe?
Right.
She's down on YouTube.
Representing from the Boondocks. What up, Jobo?
Hello, what's up? Happy Wednesday.
What up? She repping her Hey Sister Soldier look right now. Everybody give it up for Bunny. What's happening, Bunny?
What up? Happy holiday.
T-Bone, what's going on, brother?
I'm back, and I don't know about better than ever, but I'm back.
What is going on, party people? It is your Wednesday night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show. I am your boy Smooth. I think that may be on the highlight reel tape. And be glad that you are tuning in live along with the millions
And millions
of the platform sports talk show fans on once again your Wednesday night Sports Delight.
Really?
Or
Brinks truck backing up in his driveway with
There you go.
97 million. There you go.
all you hear is this.
It's always somebody who's doing something to give back and letting the next generation.
Say
Don't
straight.
have me syrup on here.
Come on now, don't have me tear up. You know I get emotional.
But people watching around the world, no pressure. And we already have our favorite fan, Ms. Williams, saying welcome, Brandon.
How are you? Hi, Ms. Williams.
A guy who tried to give it his all and put on for the city, to be truthful. Because like I said, I'm St. Louis die hard.
The views of Smooth does not reflect the Platform Sports Talk Show or its sponsors.
What is going on, everyone? It is your Wednesday night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show. I am your boy Smooth. I'm back. It's been a little minute, but we here. Rainy Midwestern St. Louis evening, day, the whole nine, wintertime. But we're gonna still move along because in the Midwest, we do our thing. We do our third thizzle. And shouts out to our faithful follower and fan, Miss Williams, showing love. Shouts out to everyone who has been tuning into the platform sports talk show for 5 years strong, consistently bringing you nothing but great content week after week, Wednesday after Wednesday. Sometimes may do a pop-up impromptu show. May have some stuff coming up. Just letting y'all know. We out here doing our thing. But once again, we appreciate all the love that you have shown the platform sports talk show over these 5 years. And yes, Miss Williams, the Super Show last week was definitely off the hook. And one of the reasons why is right here, representing from the updated Boondocks. Jobo, what's going on with you?
What's up? Hi, Miss Williams. Happy Wednesday. I felt like I barely had anything to say last week. I felt like there's a lot of stuff going on that I didn't know the topic of as much, but that's another good reason for this show is I get to learn as well. So
yeah, definitely. It can definitely be a huge learning lesson, even for myself. I learned things just through conversations. I mean, I have known this and that about it, but then once someone like T-Bone or Andy bring up something, you be like, that's a good point, stuff like that. So
sometimes I feel like I'm in like business school when Andy's on the show or something. I don't know. She does all this logistics stuff, and I'm like dumbfounded. So
yeah, but she knows her stuff. She definitely can hold her own. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about our Super Show last week. Let's check this out.
First time ever to bring you the Super Show. See, right there is where the echo should have been. Ain't no intros. Bump all that. What's good? I heard you been talking.
I'm Spanish translator.
This is what she's saying. She's saying, I love the Commanders.
What in the post-pandemic is going on here in T-Bone's attire? What?
I think that sweater's on too tight.
I mean, the sweater is certainly serving 50, but I don't know what the rest of the body is doing, okay?
Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Doll, the selector. Let me tell you something right now. Draft picks to Deion bring to Jackson State, which is going to
Man, listen, T-Bone. Damn.
That's kind of okay, when y'all losing?
John Mozeliak is cheap?
not John Mozeliak.
Wait, what?
Bill DeWitt.
Thank you, so dog. Get it right.
Was it to turn them into prime real estate in the coaching world?
Can we get a bleep going for me? F Coach Prime. How about that? That's what I'm gonna say. Your mother. Okay, that's all I got to say.
The floor is the ceiling.
The ceiling is the roof.
And what are those odds, Andy?
Not higher than the Cowboys.
I love Andy. I love you.
I did look at the fact that
Andy loves you back.
Ohio State.
Say it right. It's the Ohio State.
Whatever.
Coming out of nowhere, off the top rope. Takes out Michigan.
Like Jeff Hardy when he won the WWE Championship.
So,
That little baby on
It's
Bunny
Andy.
Lee right now has never seen a lot of things, but it damn sure haven't seen a Super Bowl winning 49ers team.
You got your mic to work just to say that? Cut the mic. Cut the mic, okay?
Shots fired. Pow, pow,
Pow, pow, pow, pow, pow. So as you saw right there, and for those listening on Hot 365 Radio, shouts out to y'all. Yes, the Super Show was definitely one to remember, and can't wait for 2 weeks when a lot of people will be in person. So the Man Cave crew, Ladies Night crew, they just doing their thing, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Outside of the topic part, just in regards to just having the Super Show in general, how did it feel, Joe?
It was cool, you know, like a lot of guys that we don't get to talk to with the Man Cave, like Rick Black. I don't think I've ever talked to him whenever I was kind of just popping in here and there my first couple years on the show. But he seemed cool, funny. It's always nice to see Stanton again, even though, he's barely on the show, I feel like, anymore. So I'm going to give him some crap over there in person. But yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of different variety of conversations and opinions going on. So I can't wait for the next time, especially since we're all going to be in person. And I'm sure there'll be some more heated conversation.
It can't be a show without, getting into something, but
that was funny how impressed Craig Black was with Annie, though. So,
yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah, because once again, she doesn't hold back. So definitely got to give a shout out and a thank you to Annie for taking some time out to join us. Like she said, once a year she'll do a show with the crew. But also to Craig Black, to T-Bone, who will not be on the show tonight, to Stan for holding things down, hosting the Man Cave, of course. Bunny will be on later on this evening, so shouts out to her as well. Sadal, the original, the OG right there. Of course, shouts out to Coach Willis and Stringer. They couldn't be on last week. Coach Willis was sick. And also, by the way, Joe, I got to give you big props too. I know you wasn't feeling your best either last week, but you as an athlete that you are, you still held things down, and you were doing your old Jordan flu game right there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I wasn't feeling good when I woke up, and then I don't know, as the day and night progressed, I just felt a little more worse. So, but I'm feeling good now, just a little stuffy. But I mean, I feel like everyone right now, especially with the weather we're having in St. Louis, they're
crazy,
going through something.
And Coach Stringer, her team had a basketball game last week while we had the actual show, and they won. So shouts out to Missouri Baptist College. But once again, to the ladies' night crew, Man Cave crew, appreciate y'all. It was definitely a fun show. I just love to sit back and just watch everyone just get into it and talk about sports and just have a good time and all love. So look forward to it again. And before I go any further, because we have another jam-packed show for y'all. Y'all already know because it's T-Bone spot, but I got to go in and do it because he's not here tonight, But, of course, you got the platform Sports Talk Show, so give us a follow on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. Joe, when they go on YouTube, they subscribe and click on that
bell because anytime
Oh, go ahead.
Anytime they go live, doesn't matter who you are, you will be notified.
There you go. And of course, the show will be uploaded right away on Roku. You can also listen to us on Hot 365 Radio. It goes down crystal clear HD quality. You can go to the app Hot 365 Radio or go online to hot365radio.com. And once again, we sound good, y'all. I mean, like, so good. Gonna have you saying, to all the fellas hearing Joe and Bunny's voice and whoever else from Ladies Night gonna be saying this. Oh, wait a minute, hold on.
Oh,
so like I said, we sound real good and everything is on point. And of course, every first Wednesday of the month you have Ladies Night, and every last Wednesday of the month you have the Man Cave. And the end of this month, of course, 28th. The Super Show is back. Once again, they will be in person. A lot of people will be in person. It's going to be a fun show. Look forward to it. Going to be back at the G Spot. If you don't know what that is, you got to tune in to see. Because it's definitely going to be one hell of a show. So tonight's show is going to be different because we have a very special guest. And, you don't run into a lot of guests like him. So I wanted to change everything up a little bit tonight. So it would be a lot of baseball related, stuff this evening. So if you don't know a lot about baseball, you don't follow baseball a lot, that does not mean to leave this show because you're going to learn some stuff. You're going to get some stories told and memories brought up and everything. So stay tuned for our special guest in a matter of a few minutes or so. But with that being said, Joe, right now, we're just catching up, man. So what's been going on with you in the sports world? I know it's been a whole lot going on. And then we talk about, of course, with our special guests. But with the hot stove season going on, it's been amazing over these last, week and a half or so.
Yeah, it's like as much fun as I had on the Super Show. I almost kind of wish we were just talking baseball last week because there's so much stuff going on, and a lot of other stuff happened since then. Like last night, might have been like 10:30 or so. Carlos Correa, he's now with the Giants for 13 years. Thank God I did not want to see him go to the Cubs, the Yankees, the Dodgers. There's been Yankees and Dodgers fans praying for their ownership to get him, and I'm just so happy that it didn't happen. Now the Correa versus the Dodgers feud is going to be amazing for the next 13 years. Booing him even though they wanted him, but I don't know.
Right.
A lot of people think it's kind of a weird contract for Correa. Like, oh, he went for the money and not the ring. Blah blah. Isn't everyone? I mean, like that's usually what it is these days. There's not many people that try to go to a team to win. They just want the money. There's been a lot of big contracts lately. Xander Bogaerts is a couple years older than Correa, and he got 11 years to play, in San Diego. What's San Diego going to do with Fernando Tatis? Like, is he just going to be a center fielder now whenever he's eligible to play?
So that's weird because word is, sources say that he's been a topic of, of trade. It's going to be hard to do that, though, because he got 20 more years left on his contract. But he has been, once again, sources say that he's been a topic of a possible, trade, trade bait or whatever. But I don't know. I don't see him leaving anywhere.
I mean, yeah, it's yeah. Again, I mean, it's a big contract. I think he's got 12 to 13 more years on there. Everyone is gonna go ahead and just ignore what happened with them, even though it happened. Ryan Braun got booed his entire career for doing the same thing. So we'll see if that happens with Tatis. But I don't know. And then just with the mixture of the motorcycle accidents, and apparently his brother did the same exact thing like 2 weeks ago.
Right,
So,
it's all in the family.
yeah, something. But I just don't see anyone wanting to. I don't see the Padres doing it because he still had one of the best high-selling jerseys this past year with the Padres. But I just don't see other teams going all in and taking in that contract. I think he's going to stay in San Diego, and whatever. Well, we'll see how it works. It's going to be weird. A lot of people say they got Bogarts because Machado might opt out next year.
Same thing with Soto, because Soto's last year is next year as well.
I think he's 24. I don't know, 23, 24, something like that. But
yeah. So after that season, he may go ahead and, of course, because you don't blame him. Look at all the money that people are spitting out to these athletes. So, of course, he's going to want to test the market.
We could talk about this with our special guest if we get into all this baseball and contract stuff, but Arenado lost out on some money this offseason.
You know what? I'm so glad you brought that because I had that saved up as a question, and of course, we'll bring it back up to him. But, we can go ahead and put it out there, and I want to put this comment back up real quick in regards to contract and going to a championship team, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No matter, like Ms. Williams said, no matter how good the team is, a win is not guaranteed. The money is.
Exactly.
So,
we could talk about the Dodgers and the Yankees for so many years,
Right. But also, I mean, San Fran has always been known as a team that's always about winning. It's not like no Tampa Bay Rays in regards to them always trying to trade away their pieces or like the Pirates have been or whatever. They're a team that's always about having a respectable organization and about, getting to the playoffs as well. So it ain't like he just went to any kind of team.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's going to bring the same effect like Aaron Judge would have, But
but he's definitely the next guy down from that, for that fan base. And the thing is, the Giants have, they had that 107 win season, and then they kind of just like last year wasn't good, and they have a lot of guys on their team that are just kind of meh, So now you got Crawford moving to third. I'm hearing got Correa. They got Joey Bart. They got Mitch Haniger. They signed Sean Manaea and Ross Stripling. So, I mean, their rotation, it reminds me a lot like the Cardinals rotation, a lot of 3 through 5 guys. But Logan Webb can very well be an ace for that team. And I don't know. They are one of those teams that have a lot of history. And Correa, it's been known that he wants to be a face of a franchise now. He wasn't with that He wasn't that with the Astros. I guess you could say he might have been that with the Twins, but no one ever believed him wanting to stay there for the rest of his career. You know, like they all knew he was going to opt out. So I think this is a really good fit for him. He's one of, if not the best shortstop in the game right now. Looking at all the analytic stuff, he's the best defender by far, and he was the youngest guy on the market. So, I mean, I think it all works out, and hopefully he has a good career there. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, and then going back to what you was about to bring up about Arenado, if you are his agent or even this Arenado, you had to be looking like, damn, why did I have to be so loyal?
Well, so me and Brendan were talking about this last night, and I do truly think Arenado loves St. Louis. I do think he loves that blue collar type feel, you know, gritty, blah, blah, blah. And another thing Nato's talked about a couple times is he's looked at our farm system and he sees what's coming. You know, he sees guys like Jordan Walker, Tink Hintz, Mason Wynn, Gordon Graceffo. Like, you know, he sees all these guys coming up. And we got a top farm system in the game, you know? So I think he's thinking more of it long term instead of just, hey, I'm going to go to the Dodgers and win next year. Because we all know that he, you know, if he was on the market, Dodgers would have pounced on that and he would have 100% taken that. So if he goes on a stretch of terrible baseball, I'm just got to bite my tongue because he stayed here for less money and he could have gotten 300 something just like the rest of these guys.
And then to me, if I'm Arenado and I'm seeing these guys getting, you know, $200 million deal, some 300, whatever it is, I'm going to play with a chip on my shoulder from here on out, especially if I'm playing, you know, a certain team like the Padres or the Giants or the Phillies and whatever. I'm going to have that extra chip on my shoulder to be and be say to myself, I know this guy didn't deserve more money than me. You know, I kind of had that mentality, you know what I'm saying? Not saying he's going to take it like he's going to hate the guy, but he's just going to play with that chip on his shoulder like, I could have been that dude to get more money because I know that I feel like I'm better than you and should have got more money. And he's gonna go out there and prove it.
It's just crazy because like whenever he got that extension from the Rockies, that was what 2019, I think he got that, and it's the game. Just no one thought the market was gonna be like this. Okay, like Jack Curry with the Yankees Yes Network, like he's even talking about that. Like if you want someone like Rodon, he wants 7 years, 200 plus. Does Carlos Rodon deserve that based off his year last year? Yeah. Based off his career, where he's never finished a clean year healthy? Probably not. But right now, if you want to win and you want to win now, you're going to have to pay up. And a lot of things, something people are mentioning is it's backloading a lot of the contracts so these teams can go out and still sign more people. So, I mean, I guess, you know, if you're Scott Boras, it's smart and all these other agents because you're banking right now. And, you know, in 2030 something, we're going to be seeing old Correa, old Turner, old Judge all banged up and getting paid $30 million to, you know, be like a cheerleader on the bench or something. But it works and the guys are paying it. So why not?
So speaking of signing, of course, last week we did sign Wilson Contreras, former Cub, a guy that I've been having my eye on since last year. When you talk about the trade deadline, I'm like, oh, get Contreras, and you know, of course, the big talk was Dan Jansen or Kirk from the Blue Jays, possibly Sean Murphy, and then once again Wilson Contreras. One of the big reasons why we didn't acquire Sean Murphy from the A's, you know, they say he is, you know, one of the best all-around catchers in the game, and would have been a perfect addition as well, you know, to follow behind Yachty. But it was because, you know, we had to give up a lot of prospects or, you know, guys like Dylan Carlson and Newt Bohr and maybe Brendan Donovan to acquire Sean Murphy. So the Cardinals went on and said, no, we ain't trying to do all that, dog. We good on that, dog. So they went on and signed Contreras, which I personally feel, not saying that I needed to see the players tribute video or the post, whatever, but certain guys just give a certain feel about what they bring to a team. And to me, that's exactly what this team needed, was that dog, was that guy that you hate to face him, but you love to have him as a teammate. And I think he is like the perfect addition to the Cardinals. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I know he's taken. Well, like everyone keeps saying, he's not taking over Yachty, but he's taking over Yachty. He's the new catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals for the next couple of years, and the way he talks and the way he talks about, if you play against him, you're gonna hate him. If you're with him, you're gonna love him. He'd kill for you. That was Yachty in his prime. That's exactly what Yachty's mentality was like. Last couple of years, got a little banged up, and he's old. You can't be a catcher till you're almost 40 years old. Like, it sucks when you're 20 years old. So, So I mean, he reminds me a lot of Yachty. I think he's gonna be great for this team. You got guys like him and Arenado who kind of got that fire. Carlson can show that from time to time. And then you got guys like Nootbaar, he's silly, but he brings a lot of energy to the team. And then you got Goldie, who's just like, he's grandpa, but he drops bombs and he's a good good defensive player and whatnot. So it's a good mesh of the type of players that you want on your team to hopefully go on a somewhat deep run and see what happens. But, he's done it before. He's definitely a bat that we needed because we didn't have anything in the playoffs. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I definitely am. Do you feel that, I just like, to me, after that press conference, I feel like he's the perfect face of the team now. And the reason why I say it, because, like I said, this attitude, of course, we know he's a winning player, but he just has that, now you in my town, you ain't going to try to push us over kind of mentality. Not saying that Goldie couldn't be that guy, because Goldie, we know just by production alone, he's that dude. But of course, he's not that vocal, type guy. Or Nato, and of course, he'll get with you, So I between Nato and Contreras, I would say are like the future faces or now face of the Cardinals. Who do you say?
No, I can see that. I see the corners and Contreras right now. It's just so weird, trying to make these lineups, and it's just looks different, like no Yachty, and it's kind of, we could talk about this later, but it feels kind of messy right now, if that makes any sense. There's a lot of moving parts. Utility type guys are going to play all over the place, but it is different seeing no Yachty in there and whatnot. But I do kind of think, a Contreras and a Nato type guy is the face. And then possibly, I know a lot of people make fun of it outside of St. Louis, but there's a reason why some of these teams went Lars Nootbaar. Okay,
yes, he's huge. I'm a huge supporter of Nootbaar.
Yes, you got the whole town yells Newt when he comes up to the plate, even if he's over his last 20. He's goofy. He brings good vibes. He's a great defender. His walk rate last year, whenever he was actually playing, was off the charts. I think it was second in all of MLB. And I think I've said on the show before, if you play Lars Nootbaar, he's going to hit. And it happens. Yes. You have to have consistent playing time. And I think that's something that kind of screwed Carlson over a little bit this past year. So I don't know. Lars Nootbaar is one of those guys, the pepper grinder, the newts. He's got a good looking face. He's just athletic, and you can probably bat him anywhere in the lineup, honestly. So I think he's probably up there too. And before Jordan Walker comes, obviously.
And I feel like he's the type of guy, in regards to production wise, not just defensively, but offensively. He's the kind of guy that people hoped that Harrison Bader would have been in regards to being productive. Harrison Bader was a great defender. We know that, but it was always some kind of, he'll have a good little stretch, but then he gets outmatched a lot. Nootbaar, he's a guy that no matter if it's lefty or righty, he's still in the lineup. He makes contact, especially when he plays every day. The guy makes contact. He really strikes out. And he's one of those guys, not saying other guys don't do it, but you just kind of feel like he's one of them guys that if he has a one bad game, he's gonna go and find out what's going on. He's gonna work at it. He's gonna work hard. He's gonna do something different, whatever he got to do, and come back and be better. And that's what I've been seeing from him, is that he's someone that you can rely on every game, and you'll be surprised if he strikes out. You got other guys, you'll be like, oh, there you go, no surprise, he struck out, But he's someone different that he definitely puts the work in, and you can just kind of feel great results is going to happen with him. And the same thing with Brendan Donovan. I'm not sure if you recall this, but during spring training, there was a time where they were trying to find out, okay, should we just bring him up, or should we see about another lefty? Like at the time they signed Corey Dickerson because they're trying to find someone else as a lefty bat to be on the team. And Brendan Donovan came up, and I was like, doing a spring training, and I'm like, I like this dude. He gave me like Brandon Crawford, from the what's his name, Brandon Crawford from the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me those kind of vibes. He's a great defender, and he makes contact. He spreads the ball all around the field. So I was saying during spring training, shoot, forget anybody else, bring up Brandon Donovan. But the Cardinals had to go do their, political thing or whatever you want to politics and bring somebody else up. But I said since day one, Brandon Donovan should be on this team because he's different. And once he got up there, he never disappointed because he has a different approach compared to other guys who want to always pull the ball or hit home runs. No, he finds a way to get on base. And that's what I saw from him in spring training, and he didn't disappoint me throughout the whole season. And now he's a
I mean, like with with today's game, with how nasty the pitches are, everyone throws 95 to 100, the movement on the balls, a rookie to come up his first full year and to hit 280, that's saying. I know a lot of people don't look at batting average all the time, but he did his thing to get on base. He hit the ball all over the place, and here and there he'll have the occasion homer. Like you said, he won the utility Gold Glove, first time that's ever happened, and you can move him all over the place. I think you'll probably see him most likely at second. But and then one of our hopeful future special guests that knows a lot about prospects, he was really, really, really big on Brendan Donovan, a little probably even before spring training, because again, he talks about prospects all the time. He knows what he's talking about. So if I see that, then I know, okay, this guy's probably going to be pretty good. And Brendan Donovan's here, and he's kind of like that Tommy Edman type guy. You need those guys in your lineup.
Yep, most definitely. As you brought up in the chat, Dylan Carlson, the biggest thing about him is he has to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, he's going to be just fine. Because, I was really big on him being the starting center fielder after Bader got traded. And he, was doing his thing until he got hurt. If he does that, because, of course, he had that big drop-off, especially when he faced righties. He can hit a righty to save his life in the second half of the season. And he's a switch hitter. I mean, he gives me those Carlos Beltran vibes when he's on. So if he just stays healthy, and he'll be just fine. My main concern is just the health. It's kind of like Tyler O'Neill, too, is you have these stretches of great ball playing, great games, staying consistent, in the lineup and playing. And as soon as you get amped up, like, oh, here we go, the man turned the corner, and all of a sudden, injury happened, and he's out for 2 or 3 weeks, and then he has a setback. Now you got to reset and find his game again, the whole nine. So it is about being consistent and staying on the field and playing every day.
Yeah, I mean, I have more confidence that DC is going to turn around than O'Neill. Excuse me. I wouldn't be surprised if O'Neill had a good year again. I don't think it would be like 2021, but I don't know. I mean, you got to think the guy's been up here since 2017. He's definitely gotten more chances than a lot of guys that we get annoyed by, pretty fast. So I don't know. Like I was saying, Carlson has to play, and we got a lot of guys that move all over the place, and I could see Ali trying to be a little fancy, which is fine. And he did great last year, but you got Edman and Donovan that can play in the outfield. You got 4 or 5 outfielders, not including Jordan Walker. So what are you going to do there? You have Nolan Gorman, who you would think he would just be your DH at all times unless you play a lefty, and then it's Juan Yepes. But it's just it's all over the place, you know. Like I want to feel some sort of consistency, but we'll see how it works. And I know I said before, like with last year, you know how Gabe Kapler did it with the Giants, but I feel like it wasn't as many moving pieces. So I don't know. Ollie knows what he's doing. I kind of think there might be a trade. I don't think we're gonna sign any pitchers. There might be a trade where one of these outfielders is leaving, and people keep talking about trading a starter to get a starter. I don't know how that's gonna work, but I don't know. I just think there's a lot of moving pieces, and they're gonna have to figure something out before opening day.
Yeah, and you brought him up earlier. I bring him up now. Nolan Gorman. He is the biggest wild card to me, and the reason why I say that is because of other people's success, it's going to be hard for him to obtain playing time, especially if, let's say, Juan Yepes comes out the gate hitting righties and lefties. Or you can't put Gorman at DH. If Brendan Donovan continues to do what he do, well, he's already Gold Glover at second base, and you can put him anywhere on the field, and he can hit lefties and righties. So if he's doing that, well, he can't play second base. You already brought up the outfield earlier. Newt, Carlson, O'Neill, and
Carlson,
maybe
Walker.
Exactly. So it's like, where would he fit in? So I can definitely see why the Cardinals were trying to see about maybe trying to move him because he may not have an actual role on his team. And it's crazy because 2 years ago, we all like, oh, he definitely a lock for, second base or third base. But then here comes Nolan Arenado. Then here comes other guys. And especially now, you know what also happened? Tommy Edman. Tommy Edman changed the whole landscape of this team, the offseason, the everything. Because of him being so good in so many different positions, he's locked
not a bad thing.
Right. But you can just see, and if you on Twitter, people, you follow Cardinals baseball, Cardinals Twitter. Tommy Edman has been has been one of the biggest conversation pieces because of him. It could be the reason why the Cardinals wasn't aggressive in regards to the shortstop market, because now they feel like, well, Tommy Edman, he's just as good as anybody else defensively at shortstop. And of course, the biggest thing for us is that we just want to get some more offense, some guys who can, take over for what Pujols did last year, and can also, bring some fear to the lineup against opposing pitchers. So we did one thing with Contreras. Of course, we didn't do no other moves like get Trey Turner or whatever, because they feel that they have what they need with Edman. So he changed the game for the Cardinals.
Let's be real. Whether we had Edman or not, Cardinals weren't going to drop $300 million on a shortstop in 11 years. It just wasn't going to happen. I don't know. I think I slightly mentioned it last week on the Super Show, but us getting Contreras, I love it. We needed it. We needed a catcher, and we needed someone in the lineup who could hit. But we did not hit in the playoffs, and Contreras is literally just taking the spot of Albert Pujols. So whenever we had Albert, Nato, and Goldie, we still needed another bat in that lineup, and we're just doing the same thing we've been doing the last couple of years. So don't get me wrong. We're going to win the division, whatever. Do I think we're going to have a deep run in the playoffs? Probably not, because to me, it's still kind of the same team. So unless O'Neill comes back and he's 2021 O'Neill, and possibly Jordan Walker comes up and he's amazing, which again, I've mentioned it before. I don't like how they're hyping him up too much. The kid is 21 years old. Like, I'm nervous for that, like what if he comes up and he's human? So, I don't know. It's, it's a lot of what ifs again. That's how it's been the last 5-6 years with this team. So we'll win the division, and that's that. But I don't know what's going to happen after that.
So going back to the money, as you said, a lot of people all just figure, they're not going to spend 300 something on the player the whole night, because that's just not how the Cardinals operate. Do you feel now, because of them not making that big sexy move like getting Correa for 13 years for $340 something million, whatever it is, do you feel that DeWitt is trying to set the tone to say, okay, well, you got your team like the Dodgers and the Braves and the Phillies and the Padres and the Giants who want to go ahead and spend, $800 billion to get a guy, and they want to prove to everyone else that we can win a championship differently. Do you feel that's their mindset, that, what, we're going to do things differently and prove that we can still win without spending all that money?
Well, I don't think he's doing things differently, because that's what the Rays have been trying to do since they came into the MLB, But I think he needs to wake up and come with the times that this game is different when you have New York media not complaining, but coming to realization on live air saying this is just how baseball is now, whether you want to pay it or not. That's just how it is. I think he just wants to get the cheap way out, and I looked it up last week. I can't remember what it was, but the dude's worth a couple $2 billion, okay? Like, come on. it's a little ridiculous. They're putting all their eggs in one basket of O'Neill, Dubar, Carlson, Walker, Wynn, and just hoping that these guys turn out to be, Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt and Mike Trout, and they're just hoping and praying, because that's just how it's always been. And I was listening to the best podcast in baseball the other day, and Derek Gold and Ben Fred were talking about how they need to change their ways a little bit. They don't need to spend what the Mets are spending, because that's unrealistic, but they need to start spending money in order to compete, because right now we're not better than the Mets. We're probably still not better than the Dodgers, even though they haven't done anything this offseason. We're not better than the Padres. We're not better than the Braves. And we're not better than the Phillies. There's only so many spots you can get into in the playoffs, and right now there's a lot of big dogs in the NL, and I just don't see us lining up, to go head to head with them.
Yeah, we definitely not up there in that top tier here. I mean, the Pittsburgh Pirates have made more moves than the Cardinals have this offseason. I'm like, okay, yeah. Pirates, I see y'all. Do y'all?
I mean, they're smaller moves, but you just know G-Man Choi is going to destroy the Cardinals next year. You know that, right? Like, he's going to
always say this. I always feel like the Cardinals are like a hitter's, rehab story. So, like, if a hitter is struggling, is slumping, maybe 0 for 35, they face the Cardinals, all of a sudden they hit 4 home runs in a whole series. And it's like, oh, I got my timing back. I got my game back. That's how it always is when Cardinals face, certain players or whatever. It's like, we just got to be that, thank you for coming to town, or thank you for playing us so I can get my game back. So you're right. G-Man Choi and Carlos Santana. Not we talking about the singer, but the baseball player.
It's funny because a lot of people the Pirates had like these cool hype up videos for Vince Velasquez, and everyone was kind of making fun of it because they spent like a couple mil and that was it. But the lineup, I might sound stupid saying this, but the lineup kind of looks decent for next year. Key Bryant has a bounce back year. O'Neill, Cruz, Carlos Santana, G-Man Choi, Sawinski, Ryan Reynolds if he's not traded. Like, those are some good bats in the lineup. So their pitching needs to be better, but I'm not going to say they're going to be a wild card team or win the division, but I think it'll be a little more challenging to play them in 2023. And I mean, as a Pirates fan who has a pretty good farm system and who's going to get the number 1 draft pick next year, that has to feel somewhat good to, to at least be talking about free agent signings, because that never happens.
So do you feel that, because there have been a little bit of talk about it during the offseason last year, but do you feel like it's a possibility that they may adjust the outfield wall at Busch Stadium to come in a little bit more?
I don't. Maybe, just because people talk about it so much being a pitcher's park, like possibly. But I don't know. I think a lot of the talk of it being a pitcher's park has to do with more of the airways and the buildings that DeWitt keeps putting up, and
right.
I guess you could do it and maybe get a couple more. That ball that Arenado scorched game 1 of the division series or wild card series would have been a homer probably, but
yeah.
I mean, everyone's doing that type of stuff these days, though. Like with the Orioles ballpark, with what they did, that was crazy.
Someone else, I believe, this offseason is moving their field in a little bit.
Was it the Rockies?
No, it's someone else, and it's tip of my tongue. I'm thinking about it right now, but I can't recall what team it is. But they were saying they're going to move in the fence in a little bit more. I know Toronto is doing something different, like they're doing some renovations in the outfield, but I don't think they're bringing a wall in. But it's someone else that I saw. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like I feel like MLB does a lot of stuff to go against the pitchers, but the pitchers these days are nastier than they've ever been. But then they're also doing now a lot of things to try to help the offense, as if we need, Aaron Judge to hit 80 homers or something. But like, banning the shift and making the bases bigger next year and moving walls in and stuff. So I don't know. I do think you'll see a lot more offense this year. Kind of like, I don't know if you've noticed this at all, going to hockey for a second, how ridiculously stupid the scoring has been in the NHL. Every single team scoring like 5 to 6 goals a night, it seems. But back to baseball, yeah, it's that's what fans want to see. Apparently, is like 10 runs a game. Fans like Bunny, so it might make Bunny happy.
So let's talk about this. We're still waiting on our special guest to get connected. So hopefully he'll be on soon. This is your Wednesday night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show. I am your boy Smooth and rocking some blue over there we have.
It's a blues and Cardinal hood.
There we go. got Jobo holding things down from the updated boom docs.
Gotta get rid of this giant box over here for our new TV.
Say the same thing. I keep seeing that big old 75 inch. I'm like, yeah, you gotta send that invite over.
Yeah, no, it's I wish this was over there so I could show everyone the setup. Some point, Brendan's gonna have to set up to the TV to where I can just do the show back there. But yeah, we're still getting things hung up around here.
Nice. It's always good to be able to be in a position to say that, like, hey, I'm moving to a bigger spot and da. So I know it's definitely a good feeling. Mm-hmm. So speaking of changes, we haven't gotten into this really that much, but we can right now. But a lot of rule changes are going down next season, and I feel like it should definitely be very interesting and possibly very good for the game. One we talk about right now is the pitch timer. So right now they're saying that there would be a 30-second timer between batters. Between pitches, there would be a 15-second timer with the bases empty, a 20-second timer with runners on base. So of course it's all about pace of play, and no more seeing the whole Skip Schumacher with the batting gloves, or no more Garcia Pera and leading out the batting box and then coming in, which I never got. Just stay in there and let's go.
It's just a routine thing that they probably did since they were kids. Like Harper's got that every single time. He does the bat across the plate, and it's just routine.
Yeah, but baseball changing that. They want to keep it interesting. So how do you feel it's going to impact the pitchers? We'll start with the pitchers first before we talk about the hitters.
All right. I mean, like you've seen, we all know how slow Dakota Hudson is, and whenever he was hurt last year, he went down to AAA, and that's something that they use there, and he was a little bit better. I think it helps the pitchers a little bit because they're not getting in their head, second guessing everything that the catcher puts down. And I don't know, like I think it would help people like Dakota Hudson. So for veterans though, veterans that have been doing this for a very long time, I don't know if it's going to help them because they've been doing the same thing for so long, or is it going to hurt them a little bit? Like I know JV at times he can be kind of slow, so we'll see. I do think everything is potentially just going to be helping the offense throughout all the rules. And one of the things that you didn't mention there, I guess it could be pitcher and offense, is you can only throw over 2 times, I think now.
Oh, okay.
So there's gonna be like Ricky Henderson, Lou Brock stolen base numbers, like Tommy Edmonds gonna swipe like 50 or 60 bags this year potentially.
Yeah, I'm reading that now. It says pitchers are limited to 2 disengagements, meaning pickoff attempts or step offs per plate appearance. However, the limit is reset if a runner or runners advance during the plate appearance. If a third pickoff attempt is made, the runner automatically advances to 1 base if the pickoff attempt is not successful. Mound visits, injury, timeouts, offensive team timeouts do not count as a disengagement. So yeah, different rules, and if you break those rules, then let's say, for instance, if you're taking in a bat and you are not in the batter's box ready to go in 15 seconds, 15 seconds, then you get a strike call on you. So I like it.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. I don't know if you have it up or not, but I don't know if this will be something that they'll test out in the WBC or what. But I don't know. I feel like I would like to see it before we start seeing it in games that matter, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and keep it pinned in regards to the WBC, because that's something we definitely got to talk about as well. Something else that's going to be really big, and this could change the game, especially for left-handed hitters, and that's the defensive shift limits. So pretty much 4 infielders must be within the outer boundary of the infield when the pitcher is on the rubber. Infielders may not switch sides, meaning that if you play at shortstop, you can't shift all the way over to in between second and first no more. You got to be in that shortstop area.
Or if you're in third base, you can't play right field.
Exactly. Like Chris Bryant used to always do that.
The Manny Machado, yeah, got bad.
If the infielders are not aligned properly at the time of the pitch, the offense can choose an automatic ball or the result of the play.
See, this is going to take a lot. That's why I'm saying I kind of hope that we get to see this. I know they've been doing it in the minors, like a lot of the stuff, but I need to see this. If I'm going to be watching every single Cardinals game, Astros game, I need to see this stuff happening so that I'm not watching it a couple beers in and like, what the hell just happened? How did that guy get third base out of nowhere?
Right. And the reason why we said this is a game changer for lefties, you got guys like Nolan Gorman that may have a batting average spike up because now those hits that he wasn't getting last year, he may get those, this season. Or guys like Matt Carpenter, if he gets signed again, or guys like Joey Gallo. It's been so many lefties that were so successful years back, but all of a sudden their careers got altered because of the shift that was going on in baseball. So now this could give an opportunity for a lot of left-hand hitters to have more success. So we should definitely see about that.
I think it'd also be real quick on the shift is this is why I think you'll see more Donovan at second than Gorman ever, just because he's got more range. Gorman, he's not terrible defensively, but he's not Tommy. Yeah, he's not Tommy Edman or whatever, So, I just think he's probably strictly going to be more so of a DH guy, and that's just another reason right there.
And that's why it's an advantage if you're someone like O'Neal Cruz from the Pirates.
With the cannon of an arm.
But I mean, he's like 6 foot. He's like 7 foot tall. You know what I'm saying? So he can cover more and not have to be in center field or whatever. He can cover his position more, and he can close up that gap. So that's going to be huge too. Bigger bases. So that's going to be huge for the game. Now, when you may think that you was just out, now because of the bases being wider, may have opportunity to actually beat out that throw going first, or we know any base you're going to, the chances of you being safe increases because of the bases being bigger.
And that's also going to help with the stolen bases as well. So, like I said, a lot of the stuff is going towards the offense, So you might see a lot of high scoring games next year, and you might see more of the league batting a 250 to a 260 instead of like a 220. Like you'll probably see a little bit higher batting averages.
Yeah. So those are the biggest rule changes, and of course, they're still keeping the extra inning effect. So it won't be you just play 20 innings until whatever.
I don't know what the heck my lights are doing. Are you seeing that?
Are you talking about the whole flickering?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Santa trying to get in early, I guess.
Boogeyman. That or Brennan's messing with it. I don't know.
Yeah. Or you know what? I think it's your camera trying to refocus.
Okay. All right. I can't tell if I see it happening or not, but I don't know.
Yeah, I just saw your whole camera kind of like go zoom in and out a little bit, trying to like refocus you and everything. Okay. So trying to make sure you stay in HD, 4K, 8K quality over there. That's all. But going back, extra innings, they'll still be the same like as it has been the last few years, in which after 9 innings, you'll have a runner start at second base. So they'll keep that going. I like it. I think it's exciting. It's different. Now, I think that rule didn't exist in the playoffs, though. Is that correct?
No, and which, thank God, honestly, I think that would be really stupid to do that in a World Series game or something, but that's when Jeremy Pena had that 18-inning solo homer against Seattle, so I know it's only one run and in a 2-game span pretty much, but that was still exciting because the pitching and the defense was great in that game, so hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah. Now I think we had the discussion before. What was the rule that you said? Oh, it was the not the extra innings, but it was something else we talked about before. No, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was the DH that I'm sorry, not DH, but the extra innings that I said we should keep. I feel like it was something else that you said that you did not want them to change at all. It wasn't the DH because the DH, it's all good. We love that.
Yeah, DH, we love them. Oh my gosh, how bad we be.
If we didn't have that, Pujols wouldn't be on the team last year, and he wouldn't have 700 home runs.
Oh my gosh, which reminds me, now that we're talking about bad Cardinals teams, this is totally off topic, but I don't know if you follow the VHS page on Twitter or not. He's the one that usually posts the other team's broadcasts, but the last time the Astros were here in St. Louis was 2019, and he did a video of talking about Correa. Do you know who our 1, 2, 3 batters were in that game?
Let's see. Let me think. Let's see. The 1, 2, 3 batters of that game. I know Matt Carpenter. No, he wasn't?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Oh, wait. Fowler.
Not as number 1. He's in there, but not number 1.
Oh, okay. Hold on. So I know Goldie was on the team at that time because he was in that stretch where he had a streak of like 30 games in a row hitting a home run or something like that.
He wasn't batting third though, so he's either off or he was batting cleanup that night.
Are you serious?
It's bad. It's bad.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So, somehow we made it to the NLCS this year. I don't know how, but we led off with Jairo Munoz.
Wow, my boy Jairo.
Dexter Fowler.
Okay.
And then Jose Cafe Martinez. That was our 1, 2, 3.
And that was when he was playing he was shift from like right field or in first base at that time.
Yeah, because obviously I forgot we had Goldie that year. 2019 was our first year with him. So yeah, somehow, some way, and the game that they were showing, Jose Urquidy was a rookie and he was pitching, and I remember we scorched him for somehow, some way. But yeah, Jairo Munoz, Dexter Fowler, and Cafe. That's horrible.
Man, that and was that Matheny coaching at that time? or was that Ship? No, that was Bethany.
2019. No, I mean, unless it was late in the year, it was Schilt.
Let's see here. The power of Google. We can go ahead and find out.
I think that was the year that he was fired mid-season. I can't remember.
Okay. Here we go. Yeah, so Mike Schilt, he was the Cardinals coach. It's crazy how like we already kind of like forgot about him.
Yeah.
Let's see, Major League. There we go. Yeah, so he was a coach in 2018. So yeah, he was the head coach during that time.
Yeah, so I don't know if Goldie was hurt or he had the night off or something, but where was Carpenter? Was he bad in 2019? You know, like that's just awful.
Yeah, and that was the year, like you said before, that they won the Central and then lost in the championship series against the National, and they got swept 4-0. So yeah, it was that frustrating year.
Weird year. I don't remember what we were talking about. I just had to bring that up because that was crazy to me.
Now we were talking about these different changes in regards to now having the DH there. We're so glad to have, because once again, if the DH wasn't existing, then Pujols wouldn't have been back and wouldn't be hitting 700 home runs, the whole nine. Of course, the extra inning rules. Now I know you probably still want to have the old way, but I love the new way, especially during the regular season.
The only thing I can say about that is, at least in baseball, you get a chance, both teams equally, not football. But that's a discussion for another time.
So now I know what I want to discuss. It was double headers.
Okay.
You were So 2 years during the pandemic season, when they played double headers, you'll play 2 7-inning games, and that's it. I love that. You know what I'm saying? 2 doubleheader games. I don't want to see, the one game be 9 and the next game be, 24 innings. I love those 7-inning games. I felt like it was exciting. It was different. And plus, it's a doubleheader. I was really big on, I was really cool on us keeping that rule. But some people, didn't want that to happen. But I was one of the ones, I'm like, yeah, keep that. I like that.
I was okay. When it was a short season, I liked it, because we didn't have a lot of stuff to cheer for that year, the whole world in general. So, I liked it in a short year, but getting back to normal, I'd rather either just make it up later or just do your 2 games. That's somehow, some way, both teams have an off day on the same day in September and they make it up. So,
yeah. So, let's go into the WBC, the World Baseball Classic. That starts up, I believe, in March.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be a few weeks that, guys from the major leagues to be away. Do you feel that this could possibly be the best WBC that we've experienced?
I think so. When it happened in 2017, was it? Last time? I can't think it happened in 2017. I've never watched one before that, and that was a lot of fun to watch. Okay, that was a lot of fun to watch. You see the guys, the stars in Major League Baseball. You see guys that haven't played in a while. You see guys that you've never heard of before. The countries are going crazy. Like the freaking drums and stuff going on in the stadium. It's fun. It's electric. And I think that in 2017, it's leading up to be even better in 2022. And I don't know if you've seen some of these rosters, but they're pretty crazy. I've only seen 2 full ones. Well, I guess they're not full. They can still add, but the Dominican and the USA, they're
same thing. The DR.
No one's gonna score off the DR if you've seen their rotation. Like,
right, I saw it. I'm like, oh my goodness. And we're trying to bring in Pujols, but Pujols was saying, I don't think. I think the roster is so already filled up that they really didn't have a spot for him for real, and for him to maybe do a DH role, they already have someone else already doing that. So it would have been hard, and then I don't think he wanted to commit to playing again. I think they want to see about a manager, but a manager position or whatever. But once again, they already have a stacked managerial team together already. But that DR team, my goodness.
Yeah, so for people on our show that don't listen to baseball, I guarantee I can name some of these guys for you, and you've at least heard of them. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to be your first baseman. Shortstop, you got Wander Franco and the World Series MVP, Jeremy Pena. Outfield, you got Juan Soto, Julio Rodriguez, Starling Marte. Pitching, you got Sandy Alcantara, Frankie Montas, Framber Valdez, Luis Severino, Luis Castillo, and that's not even getting into like their reserves and their bullpen. That is stacked. Like I don't know how you're gonna hit them. I really don't. And don't get me wrong, the USA's teams, their lineup is stacked. Their lineup is amazing, and then the pitching is kind of just mid because you don't have guys like Scherzer and Verlander and Garrett Cole committing, but there's still some good pitchers in there, obviously, because they're major league pitchers. But I mean, you're gonna have Nolan and Goldie and Trey Turner, Mike Trout. It's gonna be a lot of freaking fun to watch, and I'm excited.
Yeah, and I am working on getting this pulled up, so I'm definitely excited about the team. I feel like it's definitely going to be an incredible, a good month or so of baseball. A lot of guys is going to really show up and show out, and I'm almost done here, so I can go ahead and show the roster. Because when y'all see Team USA, y'all gonna be like, "Okay, let's go."
Like Kyle Schwarber's on the bench, and that dude hit 40-something homers last year.
Right.
Do we know the locations they're playing at?
No, not yet. I'm pretty sure it's gonna probably be in the same spot they normally be, like in Florida and in the USA. I mean, in San Fran.
Yeah, last time it was San Diego, Miami, Dodger Stadium. And I think that was it. I remember a lot was San Diego, just because that's where Stanton hit that laser beam homer and whatnot.
And we ain't talking about staying from the platform sports talk show either, y'all.
Giancarlo Stanton, or whatever. Adam Jones made that incredible catch off of Manny Machado. That was also in Petco Park as well. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Here's Team USA as of right now. Now, I think Mike Trout may not be in it because he's hurt. But you have him, you have Mookie Betts, you have Kyle Tucker. I think you know him, Joe.
Yeah, just a little.
Just a little bit. Arenado, Goldie holding down the corners. Trey Turner, Trevor Story, JT Realmuto, the catcher. The rotation right now. Let me take off this ticker on the bottom. So you have Logan Webb, Nestor Cortez, Brady Singer, some guy named Adam Wainwright, and they were just announced recently, Miles Michaelis. You have Ryan Presley, Daniel Boyd, David Bednar, Devin Williams, St. Louis guy right there, Dylan Tate, Kyle Freeland, Lance Lynn, I think you can call him as well, Merrill Kelly, once again, Miles Michaelis, Nate Eovaldi, Nick Martinez. Then on the bench, as you said before, Kyle Schwarber, Bobby Witt Jr., Cedric Mullins, Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso got to come off the bench. Tim Anderson, Will Smith, and
you might be thinking of Harper, because Harper was originally on there, but he got Tommy John. So I think Trout's good to go.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, so Harper can't play, but Trout should be good to go. So yeah, that's even better. So yeah, this team here, I'm excited about. Just hopefully they stay healthy and do their thing, and let's go. They won in 2017, so let's see what they bring this year. But just help. Now, I will say I want to be that guy, but when I saw Wainwright getting into it, I'm like, like if it was a couple years back, yeah, but it's like it's your last year. You didn't end things off on a good note because people are concerned about your health. I just felt like, as patriotic as he is, I just didn't feel like right now it was too late for him to do that, to me, because I just rather have him save his bullets for being competitive. Because if he get on the diamond, you facing the other guys, that adrenaline kicks in and you get all revved up. So you're not going to be in spring training mindset. You're going to be you're going to be in regular season form mindset, and you're going to want to bring it. So I just feel like he was better off not being on the roster and just saving himself for his last season. That's just me being protective of Wayne, right? Because he's going to play a critical role on the team.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say the same thing for Miles, though, because, I mean, he came off his injury. He's had shoulder injuries in the past, and he came back, and he was our best pitcher last year. I know I saw Wayno's interview on MLB with Harold Reynolds, and, I mean, this is his last chance to do something like this, really. When he was younger, he was, like, in the tryout stage for it, and he didn't make the team, so he's in that stage now. He's doing all this stuff because it's almost over for him, So I mean, I'm happy if Wayno is our guy that we need to be 110% next year. Then we know what went wrong. The front office didn't do its job. So I mean, we shouldn't be counting like we were counting on Albert last year, 41-year-old Albert, to hit 20-something homers, and we shouldn't be worrying about Wayno going out there being our ace that's gonna throw 200-something innings and win 10, 15 games. So, I mean, it's just going to be cool for him to go out there and do that because, like you said yourself, he's extremely patriotic, and this is probably his last time to be able to do something like this.
Yeah, so we just hope that nothing happens. He stays healthy, doesn't try to act like it's the World Series. Now,
same for Goldie and Nato, too, though, because we're going to need those guys.
Exactly. So just stay healthy, do your thing, and get ready for the regular season. Of course, we want y'all to win.
Shout out to Yachty, though. He's Puerto Rico's manager, which is pretty cool.
That should be pretty fun to see. And you see, if you haven't followed, like I said, if you're not on Twitter or whatever, Yachty Molina, he's a spark plug as a manager. He's been ejected like 20,000 times already. He's been fined.
Basketball and baseball.
He's bringing that energy to everything he does, so I definitely see him within the next 5 years being a manager of a team. I see it happening. It's just a matter of when and what team.
No, I agree. I mean, catchers know the game better than anyone else, and he's been in the game for 20-something years, and he thrived, so I think, and then guys gravitate to him. Again, it's kind of like what Contreras said. If you play against him, you hate me. Play with them, you love me. So I think Yachty's exactly just like that. There's a lot of people that you see on Twitter that can't stand Yachty, but if they played with them or if they were on his team, then they love him. He's just one of those guys that you want to go to battle with.
Yeah, most definitely. So out of the teams who have made moves during this offseason, which team do you feel in the next maybe 3-4 years will be the team that has a higher chance of winning the World Series?
I'm going to say the Phillies or the Mets. Phillies because, it's crazy. Like, Harper's going to be out for a little bit because he had Tommy John, but you just got Trey Turner, who's one of the more electric players in all of baseball. He's fast. He has pop. He plays great defense. And so just whenever Harper gets back, you're going to have a lineup with Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Rhys Hoskins, JT Realmuto, Nick Castellanos. Like, it goes on and on and on. And it's if Wheeler and Nola could stay healthy, then they'll be fine. And then with the Mets, how could you not pick the Nets? Because they got an owner that just wants to spend money for fun. Like, he's probably having a campfire right now, just putting money on it to keep warm. Like, you got Verlander and Scherzer in the top of your rotation, and then he went out and signed Senga and Quintana. Like, they literally just bought an entirety rotation in the last couple days. So but money doesn't win everything. The Astros went out and won one with most of their talent coming from the farm system. And I was telling Brendan, I think that's what the Cardinals are trying to mold themselves as, but the thing is you got to hope that Jordan Walker comes up to be a Kyle Tucker, and you got to hope that.
No, bigger.
I'm just first off, a lot of people don't understand how good Kyle Tucker is. He had 30 homers, 20 something swipe bags, Gold Glove. Come on now, come on. But
no. I ain't saying he a scrub. I'm just saying that the Cardinals in the long run want him to be like Yordan Alvarez.
Okay, well here, hold on though. So then you got they kind of want Mason Wynn to be like Alex Bregman or something, you know. Maybe they want someone else like a Burleson type guy or someone that we don't even know about yet to be a Yordan type guy. Or here you go, Moises Gomez. Maybe they want him to be the Yordan Alvarez type guy. I'm just saying, like the Astros' entire team right now, with the exception of Maldonado, Yordan because they got him from the Dodgers, and then Jose Abreu. All those guys came up with them. You know, their entire pitching staff, now that Verlander's gone, came up through the farm. So I mean, I think that's exactly what the Cardinals are trying to mold themselves around. You just got to hope and pray that those guys turn out to be just like those guys.
Yeah, but I definitely can see the Cardinals are banking on their youth to definitely be the reason why the team gets to that next level. They want those guys like Carlson, like Newt, like Gorman, Walker, Yepes, even O'Neal. They want those guys to be the reason why the team goes all the way and is that team for the next few years.
There's a way to do it both ways, though, you know. Like, I say that about the Astros, but they traded for Verlander, and they went out and traded for or signed Abreu. They've signed a Michael Brantley before. So, I mean, you still have to go out there and sign and trade people. You got to mix it up a little bit. And if you do it the right way, it works out.
So, I feel like I'm in the same boat as you with the Phillies having the biggest chance of winning the ring in the next 5 years. I love their culture, you know, how they just embraced their current head coach, and now he's signed to an extension. But that team just has a different aura about them ever since they got hot over the last month or so in the regular season, and then going to the playoffs. Then once again, you add in Trey Turner, you add different pieces here and there. I'm liking the direction of the Phillies. The reason why I would not choose the Mets, I feel like they are MLB's version of the Dallas Cowboys. You're going to have the owners going to spend money, go crazy, the whole nine, that's fine. But then they're going to just find a way to lose, find a way to not get to the point that they thought they'd get to. Because we had a conversation a while back, Joe, about how the Mets had the NL East on lock throughout the whole season until the very last week of the season, where the Braves came back and just took it, and then the Mets had to be in a wild card, game, round or whatever.
The Mets are always going to Met.
Same with the Cowboys. They are an accident waiting to happen. That's why I feel like I can't see the Mets at all. No matter how aggressive they be, I just can't see them getting over the hump.
I only say more so just because this year their rotation, I feel, is better than last year's rotation. I mean, I know you're literally banking on two really old guys, but those are the right two old guys you want to have on your team, So they really haven't done anything offensively to add to their team. I've seen their names around a couple people, like maybe Conforto again or JD Martinez, but their offense, like, you look at it on paper, it's scary, but I feel like whenever you're actually playing against them, it's not that scary, if that makes sense. It just seems like a lot of random pieces mixed together, like Mark Canha and Eduardo Escobar mixed in with Jeff McNeil and Pete Alonso and Frankie Lindor. I don't know if it's the right mesh of players or not, even though they're all extremely good.
So next question, who is a team that's not being talked about right now that can be scary good outside of your Astros, who could be scary good and can surprise some people and make a deep run next season?
I think it's the Orioles. Because I feel like the Mariners are the easy answer. They had a really good year last year. Finally made the playoffs. Added Juan, added Teoscar Hernandez. Like Teoscar Hernandez isn't just some Joe Schmo, you know, he's a very good ball player. But I think the Baltimore Orioles with their young talent, you know, Adley Rushman, Gunnar Henderson, I'm still waiting on them to hopefully make some type of move offensively. I just seen that they're interested in Michael Wacha, which for them I think would be good. You know, they have not Gunnar Henderson. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the pitcher's name. He's a young pitcher coming up for him. He was hurt last year, but he's one of the top prospects in all of baseball. They signed Kyle Gibson, veteran. Hopefully they sign like Jordan Miles again, and their bullpen was lights out last year, so they had a really good year last year. No one's seen it coming. And I'm hoping that, you know, that's one of those teams, just like this past year, that you're looking in September, early October, and they're probably on their way to October baseball, which would be really fun.
Yep, most definitely. So once again, this is your Wednesday night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show. I am your boy Smooth, and I'm not alone. We also have
Joe
in the house.
Joe.
And once again, give us a follow on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, Platform Sports Talk Show. You can also email us at platformsportstalkshow@gmail.com. We're on Instagram as well at Platform Sports Talk. The show will be uploaded right after we are done and be shown on Roku. And you can also hear our beautiful voices on Hot 365 Radio, where it's always hot. Every first Wednesday of the month, we have Ladies Night. And every last Wednesday, we have the Man Cave. And at the end of this month, except for the Man Cave, we have part 2 of the Super Show. And as Stanley was saying last week, the Super Show. In which the crew will be in person, will be at the G Spot. Shout out to the fam. Gonna be a great time. Look forward to it as we end the year off. And once again, just want to continue to enjoy providing great content and topics. And of course, it's us doing our thing. So as a program update, unfortunately, we have not been able to get back in contact with our special guest. So we will have to postpone his appearance on the show. We hope to try to get him rescheduled very, very soon. We may have an impromptu show on a different day. I'm not sure yet, but I'll definitely make sure to work things out and get him on. Hope everything is going well with him. Don't know what's going on at this time, but we hope for the best and that we can definitely reconnect at a different time and have our special guest to join us. But we hope that you all have been enjoying the conversation we've been having in regards to baseball for all the baseball lovers. It's been a long time since we had like an actual extended baseball talk for a while. Ain't that right?
I know I've been missing it. As you can tell, I've been chit-chatting a lot, which Grayson Rodriguez, that's the pitcher for the Orioles. Keep an ear out for that guy because he's a stud. But yes, me and Brennan talk about baseball all the time, and most of the time we agree on everything. So I got to start talking with someone else.
Right. And you know, that's what the show is for. It's like, hey, if you feel like you got to get some stuff off your chest, we ain't got to wait till Wednesday. We can just do a pop-up show. It's all good. I can make it happen. I got you. Okay, I got y'all. We can make it happen. But for those watching, if you have a MLB team that you love, you want to talk about, discuss, whatever, get a comment. Go ahead and get you in. Got y'all. It is definitely all good. In regards to basketball, though, I do have an update. Steph Curry just left tonight's game against the Pacers due to suffering a shoulder injury. So we hope that it's not something that's going to take too long for him to recover. It just recently happened over the last few minutes or so against, once again, the Indiana Pacers. So we hope that it's not something that's going to be long-term. Steph Curry, get healthy, get back, because he's been doing this thing. Golden State, they're not in the top tier yet, but I think in the end, they'll be right up there with one of the top teams in the game. But let's shift real quick over to some Blues hockey. The Blues.
Do we have to?
Blues haven't been playing the way that we thought they would have this year. What is your overall thoughts on this Blues team? And do you feel like it's I mean, can you think about 2019? You know, we had a bad start. It was like, oh, it's over. Then all of a sudden, boom, everything happened and they won a championship. Do you see anything close to what happened in 2019 to happen now in this season?
I don't think so. I know me and Bunny tried to be a little positive in our group chat there for a second when they had their little win streak, but it's just different.
Y'all did try. Y'all did try very hard.
Yeah, it's just different this year. You've had guys like Kelly Chase call out the team chemistry. Berube's called out Bennington for doing his little antics, and I just don't think guys are getting along for whatever reason. You know, I don't know if I said on the show last week or if I just told someone this, but like, now you're watching it and there's numbers on the ice that you're like, I don't even know who that is. You know, I used to just be able to know who number 17 was, Jada Schwartz. Like now I think it's Levo. I'm not positive, you know, like it's just different guys on the team, young, meshed with some veterans that seem like they don't want to play for whatever reason. And I don't know. It's a really freaking weird season. Bennington has been awful, and I know if you could go to last year this time, I'm probably saying the same thing about Bennington. He's not a good regular season goalie for whatever reason. I don't know I don't really know what to say about this team. It's been really depressing to watch, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of times I don't even watch because it's so depressing.
Wow. Yeah.
Like it'll just be on in the background, you know.
Yeah. That's definitely big right there. If you someone like yourself to say, yeah, I don't even really watch the game. So yeah, it's definitely disturbing that this team for some reason just hasn't found that chemistry. And it's crazy because you had the start of them losing. They had a 2-game win streak to start the season, 3 games, something like that. Then they had like a 7-game losing streak. Then they had an 8-game winning streak, and then it's like boom, boom, boom. Like what's going on? One player that I want to discuss that I feel he's been, I guess, unrightfully compared to, and that's Colton Parayko. Everyone's saying that he should have a game similar to Chris Pronger, and of course, he does not. But do you feel that he needs to develop into a guy similar to like how Chris Pronger plays?
I know early on in his career, people are trying to compare him to Pronger and McInnes because he had the big slap shot. I think it's kind of over trying to say he needs to be that. I just need him to be decent. Like he hasn't even been good, honestly, at all this year. It's just been bad. I don't understand it. Like we know these guys aren't bad players, but for whatever reason, they're not playing good. And Parayko, he's definitely one of those guys that needs to step up, but I don't think it's fair to say he needs to be a Hall of Famer hockey player, like Pronger. But it's just he needs to just be okay, and maybe his numbers look a little different, but it's not just Parayko. It's everyone on the team. I can't talk positive about one guy. I really don't think I could.
Wow, not even O'Reilly.
O'Reilly started off terrible, and then he had a really good stretch when the team was playing good, and now he's kind of, he's hit or miss. I think 2 guys, if I had to pick, would be, is it Noel or Joel Achari, and then Levo. So those are 2 guys that you consistently hear positive things about, and both guys weren't on this team last year. Like with the guys that are on this team, there's no reason that we should not be winning, but we're not. So to me, that tells me it's chemistry. Like the guys just aren't clicking.
Right. And so, did you get a chance to check out any of the FIFA World Cup?
So we watched a little bit of USA. I have it on whenever we were working. That's exciting. Like I think I've said before, if there's USA anything on, I'm watching that. But after they stopped, not really. But last Friday, Argentina's game with was it the Netherlands? That game was nutty. There was a lot of goal scoring. It went into a shootout at the end. That was really fun. But I mean, Messi's probably going to end up, with the trophy at the end. But it's exciting, you know. I'd rather watch if USA is in there, but it definitely gets you, if you're a St. Louis fan of soccer, it kind of gets you excited for St. Louis SC.
Yeah, and shouts out to Team USA. They I do see a lot of promise. This team is young, and I like that though. They're young and hungry, and they're coming. You know, they're a team that you know, I think we had one guy that was hurt, you know, from a previous game, but he still played. Another guy who is also a star, but didn't play because of him not being hungry enough to be on the field and, you know, just having himself mentally prepared to play. But this team is on the rise. I like the direction this team is going. I know that it was just today France beat Morocco, so now it'll be Argentina versus France in the World Cup. The game is just in a couple of days from now.
Yeah, I know they play today. It's usually like 3 to 4 days after that.
Yeah, so I love just seeing how countries, you know, all come in, you know, like the Olympics or whatever, you know, and you just see that extra adrenaline, that energy, you know, because you got that pride, you know, you want to hold things down. So let's see what happens when Argentina faces off against France. Should be a great match, as they say in soccer. Shouts out to the previous Man Cave guest Eric McWoods from 2 weeks ago. That was an excellent interview as well. But you know, a lot of good things going on around the sports world at this time. So that's what this show is all about. It's talking about the sports. We'll definitely get into like the basketball and football next week. We'll go ahead and end the show early tonight. So we hope that y'all have a wonderful rest of your evening. The Platform Sports Talk Show. Once again, we will try to get our special guest on again. Don't know exactly what happened tonight. Hopefully everything is okay and we can catch up and get him back on the show and have his story told and so many things to share during his time with the Cardinals and on the radio as well.